Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Moms and Some Labels. Two Moms and Some Labels is a platform for caregivers and parents taking care of children with a disability to come together in a shared space to network, communicate, gain, and share ideas on how to persevere through challenging times. My name is Brittany, and today we have some special guests. Yes, guests. We have two special guests with us and they are from Superstar Sitters. So, on this episode, we are going to talk all about trying to find some relief for you parents because I know the struggle is real and we are always looking for a way to get some time away to ourselves, to relax and just decompress. So, I have my guests here today and they are going to take it away, introduce themselves, and we're going to dive into all the good information about Superstar Sitters.
Yes. So my name is Jennifer Levy, and my background is I'm a certified human resource professional with nearly a decade of experience, as well as a certified scale agile product owner and practitioner. So basically, that means I have experience in crafting software. So, with that experience, I've teamed up as a co founder with superstarsitters.com with my partner Shamish, who will introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shamish Patterson. I am a board certified behavior analyst. I've been working in mental health since 2008. I've been working with children with autism since 2014. Um, and Superstar Sitters, we actually came together based on a personal experience that I had. I had a coworker whose daughter, she is on the spectrum, and she needed some help. She wanted to take her kids on vacation, and because she has a younger daughter, she didn't want her daughter with special needs to interfere with that experience taking them to Disney World. So they both went to Disney World just on separate days. So while she took the younger daughter, I watched her older daughter, and she paid me for the day. And I was just telling Jen, it wasn't really about the money for me. It was just more about the experience. And I was more than excited to help out a friend in need. And from that, it just kind of spiraled into this business idea. And we started talking about our experience when we worked, because we met at a pediatric behavior facility. So she was HR, and I, at the time, was a registered behavior technician. And so I've done like a lot of the leg work with working with children with special needs. I understand how frustrating it can be. I understand how unique everybody's needs are. And I just want to be able to put my footprint out there and show that I want to make a difference. And my friend Jen here, she jumped right on board, and we've been motivating each other through this whole process. And so I couldn't have done it without you, girl.
No, thank you. Me too. Me too.
And I mean, it's just really like it really takes a special person. I know I always hear it takes a special person to be able to take care of a child with special needs or have a child with special needs, but it really does take someone that has patience and understanding and
Mhm.
compassion and empathy to be able to care for a child with special needs. And then even for, a complete stranger to the family, that child, that parent to come in and say, I'm willing to help you out so that you can be able to give this time to your other child or children so that they are able to experience things that, the child with disability, is not able to experience,
Mhm.
or it may be difficult for them to enjoy that experience. And that is why it's so important for us to be able to have people and businesses like Superstar Sitters around, because you guys have experience, you are, living in this, and you understand what the difficulty is for the parents caring for a child with a disability. And I think that's the most important thing to know, that the person that's coming to my home, they are knowledgeable, they have experience, they
Mhm.
understand what we are going through, and they want to help. It's not they're just doing it because of the money, like you said.
Mhm.
So that is very important. that you guys are doing that. And so with Superstar Sitters, is it only children? Do you do adults with disabilities? Tell us a little bit about the age groups that you service.
Absolutely. So currently, we service children. So that's between what the ages of 2 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, as we grow and as we scale, we do want to add older ages, right? At least our goal is to add sitters. So the way our platform is built, sitters are screened, their background screened, right? We also look through their profile and ensure they have credentials. So currently, we take registered behavioral technicians. So we ensure that they're active, right? We ensure if they have any additional credentials, like maybe CPR, things like that. We just verify that that's correct. And then we do a background screening and we add them to the platform. And they can put their rates on the platform. So any parent that's a user can go through and click through the profile, see details about the sitter and their availability, and schedule time for the sitter to be able to care for the child.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much our makeup. So again, parents have that peace of mind, right? And especially if you're looking for something specific, you need CPR. We have ways they can add areas of focus. Maybe if they have experience in taking care of children that need toilet assistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can add that area of focus so parents can know that the sitter has that experience and they have that peace of mind. And we also have a messaging functionality, which we really like, and it's a free offer. A lot of other care platforms, they kind of charge you an additional fee for that, but we don't. That's free of charge when you use the platform. But again, it gives you that peace of mind, so you can always message the sitter, or the sitter can message the parent should they need to communicate.
So with the platform, is it on a membership basis or a subscription basis in order to access the sitters and your platform?
Not subscription based, no. You
Okay.
just have to create an account. Sitters, they do have to pay an application fee. It's a one-time fee that includes the background screening. For parents, it is free. Um, you're just paying for your booking, and then there are fees associated with booking. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, as far as membership goes, like no, it's free to use. You're just paying per booking.
Correct. Now there are other services, like for example, our platform is designed for more on the spot care, right? Think of a date night, think of, an event coming down the pipeline, or the situation Shamish had where the parent needed an assistance for a couple of hours on that day, right? It's more on the spot, but we do offer services where we can post jobs as well if you need more long-term commitment, right?
Mhm.
So if you need them more than spot on, you need them for long distance amount of time, somebody with specific skills. We also have a service where we can tap into our network and for individuals who have that certain criteria.
So when you say like the long-term care, so someone having either a permanent kind of like semi-permanent caregiver, or are
Exactly.
you offering services for, let's say if a family is they want to go on a cruise and the cruise
Mhm.
is 3 to 5 days long,
Mhm.
is that something that
You
you
got
your
it.
sitter?
Spot on. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So, like, let's say those examples, or let's say maybe in the summer, right? The kids are out of school for the summer.
Mhm.
You need additional care, more long term care for that, 3 month or so period. You can tap into that resource and say, hey, and we'll have a specialized network of individuals who are fine with more long term assignments. And we'll say, hey, do you fit this criteria? Again, based on the package the parent gets, based on the person they want to attract, and then it'll help find the individual that they need for that longer term assignment.
And then you said that the sitters are able to basically like say what their own rates are when
Mm-hmm.
they put it on their profile?
Exactly. So
And
our setup is it's more so like their business. But what we do
okay.
essentially is, again, we want to make sure that their background screen, we understand they're working with a vulnerable population, right? So we never want to, willfully put someone there that shouldn't be there. That's kind of me tapping into my HR background, right? So we make sure their background screen, we make sure that what they say on their profile is what actually is transpiring, and we can confirm it before they even gain access. So again, parents have that peace of mind.
So are parents able to schedule interviews first before they book?
Yes.
Yes, so they absolutely have that option. So again, once we have that approved individual, they can display their profile. So kind of think of it like an Airbnb, right? When you go into Airbnb, you'll see profiles based on location, and you'll probably get like a photo and maybe a little description, right? Is that setup? And they'll also display their rates, right? This is how much they charge per
Mm-hmm.
hour. So if something looks good to you, you can click into the profile to get more detail. And within the profile, you can scroll to the bottom to see their availability. But there's also a messaging function. So you can send them a message. You can say, hey, these are the specialized, cares that my child may need, or whatever pertinent information you need to give to them. And that way you can message them back and forth via the platform. So again, security. You're not giving anybody your personal information or personal email. It's all through the platform. But that way you have, again, that peace of mind before you lock in any dates.
And so I know sometimes things happen and everybody is not always a good fit for everybody. So if, let's say, a family had a concern or issue with a sitter that they decided to go with,
Mm-hmm.
how is that handled? Do they, you know, directly contact superstar sitters, or how is that handled?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so we definitely have terms and conditions on our website that spells out kind of our whole process. But even so, to answer the question, if there are any discrepancies, we have our contact information via the website. We have a contact page. We have our email address. And we definitely encourage anybody to reach out to us with any concerns that they have. And we our turnaround time is to reach out as soon as possible. But again, we want to ensure a solid experience. And we also have an ability to review on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
So once a sitting session is completed, you have the availability, the parent, to go within the platform and click a review button. So you can review not only your experience with the babysitter, but you can review your experience with the application. Like, was it seamless? To book the appointment, was something cumbersome, right? So that way we always keep a pulse on, the experience from start to finish. So if we do receive any review or any contact information that was a problem, we have no issue. Again, that's my HR background. We have no issue, right? Reaching out to you to kind of investigate and find out what exactly happened and if there's any way that we can rectify it. And again, that's in our policy. We take that very seriously.
Very serious.
Like, it's against our policy, no harassing, none of those things.
And then are there any, or is there a certain criteria for parents to, qualify their children? Or how do you know if the child really has a disability when they are getting on the platform to reach out to the sitter? Because are you the sitter seeing typical children also, or is it primarily for children with special needs? How do you, figure out the two, which is which, and making sure that the parents are using the platform appropriately?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say that that's a good question.
That is a good question.
But I'd say the way the workaround is on our platform, we have an option for parents to add a profile for their child, right? Okay. So they can add a photo, they can add their age, they can add detailed information about them. And that's just to assist with the sitting experience. But again, let's be honest, right? We're in the age of technology, we're in the age of catfish. People
Right.
will do, and again, I'm tapping into my HR background. People will do the unimaginable, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to go off the honor system, but that's again why we encourage people to use the contact us form, to use the review form. And as we iterate the product there, and we have the ability to message, we'll add a function to where you can flag certain comments, right? In the
Mhm.
DMs if they get kind of crazy. So there are definitely safeguards to be able to say, okay, well, a sitter can reach out to us and say, well, this parent I sat for, they didn't really have a child with special needs, But again, that's up to them to reach out to us and kind of let us know. But unfortunately, because they're children, there's no
Mhm.
way for us to be like, well, I have to
Yeah.
make sure, and again,
Yeah.
the term disability is so it's a spread, right? It's a
Yeah.
spectrum, right?
Mhm.
So, and there's no way visually you can even tell, right?
Mhm.
And I'd argue there's no test for every disability that's out there,
Yeah.
right? So again, that's a very slippery slope. But we have to lean on the honor system and lean on our community to communicate with us to let us know.
Yeah.
Our platform was designed specifically for children with special needs, but not to exclude others with care, because we do
Mhm.
also have that additional child rate. If a parent
Okay.
needs to go out and there's a sibling that doesn't have a special need,
Mhm.
we don't want to necessarily exclude them and say,
Yeah.
no, this parent or this family doesn't qualify for our service because of such and such.
Mhm.
But the platform was designed to be a need. We saw a need out there for parents who needed care for their
Yep.
children with special needs. So again, not to
Mhm.
disqualify them, or not to just straight up say no,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
Yes, but we're doing all we
we're
can to prevent anybody from using it nefariously,
right.
right?
Yeah.
We can't control all risk, but again, we hope that with our community and in those ways that we have different ways to communicate with our community, we can hopefully, omit any of that.
Yeah. And so are the sitters able to put on their profiles like their restrictions, or what they won't do or are not comfortable doing, or would that just be like a personal conversation with whatever family is inquiring about having them as a sitter? How
we,
how to
we kind of allow them to be more independent with what they communicate.
Mhm.
We just kind of give suggestions of things, the things that
Mhm.
you are willing to do, not necessarily the restrictions per se, but we also want to give that free communication between the parent and the sitter, so that they can kind of talk about what needs are able to be met and what aren't being able to be met. So I mean, that is a good idea to include that, but there is a box where they can list out details and kind of be more independent as far as what information they're willing to give out.
Absolutely. And even kind of what we spoke about before, that messaging functionality. If there is something in the details or in the areas of focus that maybe you don't see is leaning towards the speciality that you need, or maybe you need more details, you can always click send a message, right? And say, hey, I saw your profile. However, I didn't see this. Is this something that you're willing to do? So
Right.
again, so you have that open communication to where you can inquire further if the profile doesn't give you enough information.
Okay. And I think that this platform is really important and it's very unique in the fact that most most businesses that offer services for families that have a child or an adult with a disability,
Mhm.
you have to go through them. They have to find someone or send who they feel might be best for your family. And then you have to interview, and then you got to wait, and it's just a lot to go through that process to be able to find someone when you have to go through businesses. But with superstar sitters, it's like I can't find the word or think of the word, but you're able to have a variety of different people you can already look at and choose
Mhm.
from, and contact with make contact with them on the spot to find out who might be the best fit. Arrange your own interviews instead of going through like a third party to communicate from the owner or whoever it may be, and then the sitter. It's I feel like it's much easier being able to communicate directly with the sitter. It makes things so much easier for the family, and you don't have to sit waiting like, okay, well, did they find somebody? Are they going to get back
Mhm.
with me? And all that waiting that goes on, because I know I've had the experience with that too, where I have to wait to hear back and do all that, and it's very time consuming and a little stressful, can give you a little bit of anxiety, especially when you're trying to find someone maybe in a rush at the last minute, or
Mhm.
even in the future looking for somebody long term for a particular date. To be able to have that access immediately is very convenient.
Exactly. We
Right.
wanted to cut out that middleman, like you said. We didn't want, for you to go through us and then us to go find
Mhm.
them and then them to hear back from us. And we just feel like to cut out the middleman is to lose kind of all that fluff. So
Mhm.
again, like you said, you can just communicate with them directly. They set up their availability when, they're available, when they're not. They set up their rates, right? And then so that way you can again look through their profiles, look through their details, their area of focus, and if it's something that you're interested in, again you can message. And again, I think that's a premium function as well. I can't say that enough, because even before, when we were doing our research, somebody kind of compared us to another company, and we're saying that maybe they offer the same services. However, this company, they upcharge you to message,
Mhm.
right? So that's an additional per month charge, right? To where we give you that as a parent for free,
Yeah.
right? As well as we again make you comfortable, because we background screen them, right? Any additional verification, we've already verified it. So you just go on the platform comfortable, already knowing, that these are individuals that meet a certain criteria before you even get started.
Yeah.
And two, I think also it's important that we kind of compound it down to a niche market, whereas like other companies they just kind of umbrella term
Mm-hmm.
special needs care, and then they have people who may not have the training to come in, and they're no longer able to care for said child because of their training and their background.
Yep.
So that's part, and like hearing stories like yours about how it was hard to find I'm sorry, hard to find care, and you have to wait on other companies. Like hearing stories like those are
Mm.
what me and Jen discussed while we were creating this platform, and we definitely take into consideration like the parent experience as well as the sitter experience, because we want this to be something good for everybody involved. We I thought enough of the RBTs that I've worked with that always complained about their hourly pay, or always complained about their schedules and how they can't be flexible. And I've also heard parents discuss their experience with trying to find care outside of, a clinical setting or outside of a school setting. So like we just kind of took all of those experiences and we wanted to make a seamless platform. So we are listening. That's why the review function is also important to us, because we're listening to our users. We want this to be something that is beneficial for all parties involved.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then even mentioning with the being that you guys, brought it down to like a niche, specific niche, and having the RBTs, I think is important too, like you were saying, Shamice, before, because I could go through a company, like you said, and then they send someone, even though they might have said, oh, yeah, I have experience with dealing with children with special needs.
Mhm.
But then I've had, in my experience, I know they get there, and then when they see that the child, even if you tell them too, they have this, this, and that,
Mhm.
and then they still get there, and then you are showing them what their duties would be and how to take care of your child. They have a G tube, they have, seizures and stuff. And then when you're actually physically in front of the person and showing them everything, then I felt like it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable doing this, or I haven't done it, but I can learn. It's nice that you have RBTs because they most likely have been exposed to children that maybe have a G tube or they have seizures or whatever other part of their disability that they may have and need help with. They have that exposure to dealing with that, or even maybe talking to fellow RBTs and just communicating about those kind of things. They have experience, and you don't have to worry about, man, I don't know if they're going to feel comfortable with this or even know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And they do, because that's what they deal with,
Yeah,
on a daily
that was
basis.
kind of our main thing. We kind of went back and forth on that.
Yeah.
About the RBTs, and I'm that controller, I guess. I'm that controller, I guess, to where I was like adamant that they are RBTs, because at least the mission and the vision for our platform is to make parents feel comfortable, right? So we have to have sitters that have that experience. And with RBTs, right, parents don't have to explain, right, what's going on, because like you stated, they have kids that have dealt with various things. And even like Shamish was talking about before, other platforms, they'll just say, drill down to special needs, to where again, that runs the gamut, right? Some may need more support, some may need less support, and again, the type of support varies, right? But again, with the RBTs is where they have that experience. But again, what I like about our business model is it's sustainable. It's not just assisting the parents to find that care that they need, but it's also assisting those RBTs. Because again, I worked on that HR side, and I process payroll, and to be honest, they do not get paid well.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not even not at all.
And then it's based on, I think their pay is based on their client. So if they don't show up or they cancel, like they don't get paid for that.
And it's billed per hour, and they have to follow up with a ton of notes, because if insurance is involved, they have to type up notes, and they get paid a different lower rate for their note taking. It's just ways that their income is just etched down, and they do a lot. And based on Shamish's experience, on my experience, they work very hard and they love what they do.
Yes.
They love what they do, and they're very dedicated. So again, we want to open that way for them to increase their income to do what they love. But again, for those parents to be able to find individuals that they don't have to, question whether or not they know, right? So before you even book that time, you can say, hey, this is what my child needs. Are you comfortable with that? And you can know that before you even book the appointment.
And in all honesty, too, because the special needs population is growing, we also have to grow as clinicians. We have to grow as, those who work with kids with special needs. So I also want to use our platform to entice others to get into our community space and be able to be helpful. Me personally, I don't have a child with special needs, but working in the field has shown me how much we are needed, and the amount of care to versus the amount of actual people that are providing the care is starting to, there's starting to be a big divide. So we also want to use this platform to get people more into our field. Like they say it takes a special person, and it does, but I feel like if we all work together, we can definitely tackle this and help each other out. Like we want to build a community space. We want to build a safe space for everybody. And so like that's what more so a lot of this is about, like making sure that there's a need that's being filled, and we are, as autism awareness grows, as special needs awareness grows, that we have people in place to help with this need that's growing.
Absolutely. And we talk about this all the time. So again, Don't despise humble beginnings. My dad used to always tell me that. But definitely, as we scale and as we grow, we want to open, like a community center. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking about how, there's kind of a gap uh, of children who attend school with special needs
Mm-hmm.
and kind of take that leap to adulthood. And we're talking about how we kind of want to help fill that gap to teach them, everyday skills, but you need in life, right? To where,
Yeah.
how to take care of a home, how to cook, right? Back in my day, let me age myself. Back in my day, we had home economics, right? We had sewing class. We had those things that taught you how to take care of yourself, which are important, but they're even more so important because children don't stay children, right?
Right.
So again, that's kind of our purpose, to be those gap fillers, to say, hey, this is where we see the need. And instead of like sitting on our laurels and expecting somebody else to take care of it, we want to do it ourselves.
And to piggyback off of Jen, it brings me back to a question you asked earlier, Brittany, about us being able to service adults. And like Jen said earlier, as we scale and grow, I know I've worked in a group home for a very short period of time, and I know that that's also a need. Like there are very limited services for adults. Everybody wants to work with small, cute kids, but small, cute kids don't stay
They grow
small,
up.
cute kids,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like we have definitely thought of ways to grow our business so that we are helping adults as well. So Superstar Sitters isn't just for, it's just for children now, as we're a small company. We're in our humble beginnings, as you like to say. But we definitely have the thought, we definitely think about our adults, and we want to be able to help parents who have adult children that aren't able to care for themselves independently. We want to be able to help them be as independent as possible. So definitely working with children who are transitioning into adulthood, and then helping them in their adulthood. Like they still have to take care of themselves
Yeah.
to the best of their ability, and we want to be able to help provide that care, that service for them too. So we have phases to Superstar Sitters. So right now we are obviously in phase one, but we have a vision that continues to expand so that we can touch the lives of many.
Yes, and I can't wait until, even though I don't have an adult yet, I can't wait until you guys do get into servicing adults, because I hear my friends' horror stories, all the time, and I'm terrified of my child becoming an adult. So it's definitely a need, like you said, and there's a great gap between the children, the care available for children and the care available for adults, and the quality between the two also.
Right.
So definitely that is something very much needed. And then as far as with the booking, paying, pricing, you were saying something about a booking fee. So do they pay, is there a booking fee first? Is that separate from the total that they pay altogether, or do they pay everything once they book?
So, what we do is we charge parents a 10% booking fee.
Okay.
So again, that goes to, again, we vet the individuals, we ensure their background screen. There's administration to run the website and the process. So that's kind of what that fee goes to. So again, it's not paid until you book the appointment, confirm the appointment, and pay. Right. So it's whatever the total is plus an additional 10%.
And then the sitter is paid out 48 hours after, because we want to make sure the service was actually rendered. And they're paid 48 hours after the session, the babysitting session.
So again, that kind of plays into the question that you had before about the quality of service, right? So let's say you booked the sitter, you paid, and they ghosted you, like knock on wood, heaven forbid, right? But let's say something extreme happened where the service was not rendered. So they don't get paid out till 48 hours after. So you have that, again, availability to contact us by email, and let us know, hey, this service was not how it's supposed to go. And then we can do an investigation, right, to ensure what transpired, and what didn't. And then we can definitely give that refund should that service not be provided.
And so if parents want to give a tip, how is
Mhm.
that factored in? Is that something that they do at the time of paying for their services, or after, usually the tip is given after the services because you want to
Mhm.
know what the
Mm-hmm.
quality it was like
Right.
again. So how does that work?
Well, I'd say currently we don't have a function to add a tip, but definitely that's an idea that we've had in our backlog.
Mhm.
So, what we're going to do as time passes and as we get feedback, that's why, again, we emphasize that we need people to use the platform. We need them to write reviews. We need them to contact us with any, questions or things they wish were better or whatever the case may be, because as the product transpires, we're going to iterate and we're going to grow, right? So there's other functionalities we want to add as well. So like you can favorite a sitter, right? So
Okay.
let's say you're scrolling through a couple of profiles and you just kind of want to favorite ones to go back later to visit, right? So we're going to add an iteration to do so as well. So we launched December 31st,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we just recently launched, but again, we want to ensure that the platform works seamlessly. But again, we need people to use it and to give us that feedback to let us know what they want us to tweak, right?
Yeah. So I know I need, so when you guys say it's launched, that means Superstar Sitters is live in full effect
It
on
is.
the website,
It
Yes.
is.
and parents can go on there and read everything about your cancellation policies,
Mm-hmm.
the fees, and any other questions that they may have when they go onto the website.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we actually have a couple of users. We are recruiting for registered behavioral technicians. So we're in the process of recruiting those individuals. But again, we have those interests. We already have individuals who created profiles, which is exciting. So again, we just want to make sure, again, we get the word out so people can create accounts. And we can again provide that care and fill in that gap that
Mm-hmm.
parents need.
Yeah. And me, I'm always about supporting a business. And my child, she sees RBT. So I don't know if I'm allowed to go and be like, and hey, y'all RBTs in here, y'all go on to
Mhm. Don't be
Superstar
afraid. Don't be
Sitters.
afraid.
Look, I will find a way to be able to relay the message to
Mhm.
the other RBTs in her therapy clinic.
Absolutely, because it's a
Uh,
need. It's a need, and so again, we want to fill that gap. So anybody that's a registered behavioral technician active, go to superstarsitters.com, and fill out
Create
a
a profile.
profile. Yeah.
Yes, and so I know I need to go on there now and create my account. So
Absolutely.
I will be doing that. And just to kind of wrap things up here, I just want to say for the viewers that RBTs, like Jen and Shamish were saying, they are very undervalued, underpaid, and they do a lot.
Yep.
Not everybody is the same, but the ones that I have come into contact with have been excellent. And I think that you really do have to have a passion for it because, correct me if I'm wrong, there is the ABA therapist to be the a BCB. How do I always can never.
It's a lot
And
of
so many
it's a lot of
acronyms.
letters.
Okay, BCBA is a board certified behavior
BCBA.
Mhm.
Okay. So for our therapists, these therapists to go through the schooling to get their credentials in
Mhm.
this field of work, it takes a lot of time and
Oh, yeah,
dedication.
absolutely.
And I can tell you from just getting back the notes and signing off on the care plan or plan of care for
Mhm.
my child, like it's pages and
Oh, yeah.
pages of data
Mhm.
documentation. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they had to sit here and do all of this fighting with insurance, especially with Medicaid,
Mhm.
to get approval for our children to be able to continue to be seen, because they know that it is such a need for
Mhm.
so many children. I mean, it takes a very strong person and a dedicated
Mhm.
person, and
Mhm.
I am just very thankful for the RBT that we have and the RBTs that are taking the time to pour into this community.
Yeah.
I'm just very grateful for that, and I'm
Mhm.
so grateful that Superstar Sitters has started this platform for parents to be able to access care easier, more conveniently, and making sure that they are providing quality care providers,
Mhm.
and just dedicating their time and efforts to this community of families that have children with special needs.
Mhm. Absolutely. And kind of in the same vein that you were talking about before, RBTs, most of them are, college educated. Most of them have college
Right.
degrees, and then even on the path to be a BCBA,
Mhm.
what you have to have a master's
Right.
degree, and that's not including your hours of training. So it's like you said, it's a very extensive list. And again, not only that high bar of criteria. But again, I've rarely met a RBT who isn't passionate about what they do.
Mhm.
And even if there are a bunch of negatives or cons on what they do, a lot of them get up every morning to be with those kids.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
again, that part that we love, we want to harness it. But again, we want them also to be their own boss, right? Maybe if
Yeah.
they're unhappy with what their pay is on our platform, they're the ones that are the boss and can name their pay,
Mhm.
right? So we're opening up that opportunity for them to increase their income there, but they're still doing the things they love to do just outside of a clinical setting.
Yeah. And then it's very important too that they are given this opportunity, and that your platform, it does cater to families, the children, and the RBTs, because like you said, their pay is very little, and if
Mhm.
they are not getting what they deserve,
Mhm.
then they have the opportunity to do this. And honestly, with the times that we are in now in society, I feel like everyone needs to have a
Yeah.
side hustle, another job, something going on the
Yes.
side to
Yes.
help, and for you guys to be able to provide this platform for them to be able to take this as an opportunity to be their own boss, get another opportunity to make some extra income, is
Mhm.
definitely a positive. And then doing something that they already are familiar with, educated on.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
definitely a positive for everybody in the end. Everybody is able to win. So,
Absolutely. And I think another area that we assist with, which I don't think we talked about, was the security as well. Because oftentimes, again, we talked about the messaging functionality. So that helps with security. So you're able to make sure that they can do what you believe that they can do, or you can answer any questions that maybe their profile doesn't provide the answers to. But we also provide security in payments, right? So you're not
Mhm.
giving your credit card to somebody that you just met, or maybe you guys aren't clear on what the payout is, or whatever the case may be. All of that's already settled on the platform, the payment settled on the platform. So again, within that 48 hours, if there is a dispute, you
Mhm.
can contact us. So again, you have that additional security. Then let's say if you went to another platform and they didn't have that payment option, right?
Or if you tried to do your side deal, you meet somebody out in public and they're like, "Hey, I'm RBT. I can work with your kid." And then, this person has paid you up front and you ghost them. We
Mhm.
also offer that added security as well,
Mhm.
that we are making sure that the service is being
Exactly.
is being
So
rendered.
that's the additional value because sometimes people, don't think about that aspect. Is again, we're screening them. They're already screened. Their credentials are verified, so it's no guesswork. It's not like Craigslist. It's like, yeah, I'm a lobotomist. You wouldn't go look for him, on Craigslist, right? I don't know if this guy's telling the truth. Like here on our platform, we're verifying that you have these credentials.
Mhm.
Then on top of that, you can again message them to ensure that security is there. And again, you can pay them that way. And if there is a dispute, that can be discussed prior to the payout.
Yes. And then also too, my parents out there, I'm going to tell you straight up what the real deal is whenever I am hiring a sitter or have an experience with reaching out trying to find a sitter and it goes to the left or I'm going to make sure I do not contact this person because
Yeah.
I had a experience blah blah blah
Yeah.
XYZ. I'm going to make sure that I let you all know.
Yes.
So when I'm having
Please.
guests on here, businesses on Two Moms and Some Labels, I am having trustworthy companies,
Mhm.
businesses, being able to share their stories, their businesses on here because
Mhm.
I would 100% validate it. And I'm a parent of a child with a disability. So I'm not going to just have anybody coming
Mhm.
in and caring for my child.
Absolutely.
So I make sure that the information you're receiving is
Mhm.
valid and the integrity of it is, 100% accurate. So,
Absolutely. No, I agree because that's where we met. We met at a pediatric
Mhm.
behavioral facility and I worked HR where, we had to verify their license. They had to get CPR. If you didn't, we
Mhm.
had to schedule the CPR classes for you. Like we scanned your background. I had to put their fingerprints on the panel and do their fingerprints. So, and even in the past I worked for like daycares, I worked for nonprofits, in the HR department where you're dealing with a vulnerable population. So, and I'm a mom myself, so I don't play,
yeah,
So you
yeah,
can't just say, I do this and I do that, and you're not screened and we're not verifying
Right.
that you are who you say you are and there's nothing like nefarious in your background. I kind of treat it like my kid, like you won't have access to the platform then, and then it won't be an issue. So
hmm
that's something we definitely, privacy is something we definitely take seriously,
Mhm.
as well as security we take seriously. And again, just behaviors too, because we want an atmosphere where everybody gets along,
Mhm.
where, again, we fill that gap, but we don't tolerate, any negative behavior at all.
yeah. Yeah. And so that's very important because, we already are under enough stress. So,
Hmm.
it's making things as less, stressful for the families as possible.
Hmm.
And that is greatly appreciated. So, if families want to get in contact with Superstar Sitters
Hmm.
or create their user account, how do they go about doing that?
Absolutely. So you just go to superstarsitters.com. And we also, all you have to do is just look in the upper right corner and you'll see a sign up button, right? So all you need is your first name, a valid email address. You're going to choose your role. Either you're a sitter if you're that RBT, or you're a parent slash caregiver if you're, again, that parent looking for care. And then you're going to create that password and then hit submit. So it's as simple as that. You'll get an email just prompting you to tell you these are the things needed to complete your profile. So just basic things like address, last name,
Mhm.
just contact information, and then your profile will be approved, and then you'll have the availability to look through profiles.
Okay. And so are you guys on social media, Facebook, Instagram? What are
Yes.
your handles on those platforms?
So we are on Instagram, and so it should be superstarsitters.com. Sometimes these things have uh lines in it. Let me make sure. So it's superstar underscore sitters.com on Instagram, right? And then so our LinkedIn, if you just look in the search bar for Superstar Sitters, you'll find us on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And then so we also have a TikTok.
Okay.
And let me double check that TikTok handle.
She's our
It's
social media
Superstar.
handler.
It's Superstar period sitters on TikTok. But no, we're gonna start posting more on TikTok. I was just telling her that because we're actually going to volunteer for a night
A
to
night to
shine
shine. Mhm.
that's
Okay.
coming up with Tim Tebow's foundation. And so we're gonna do a little cute get ready with me video as we dress up to go to a night to shine. So it'll be cute.
Cool. Yeah. So that'll be fun. We went well, I went last year and I was a buddy. So that was fun.
Yes,
So
that's what we're
that'll
gonna
be
be. We're
Yeah,
gonna be
we're gonna be
buddies, right?
buddies.
Yep.
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. So that will be fun. I'll be excited to see that TikTok.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you guys, Superstar Sitters, for coming on Two Moms and Some Labels today and sharing this wonderful information with everyone. And guys, please go on to superstarsitters.com, create you an account. If you're looking for a caregiver, you're going to be looking for a caregiver.
Yes.
Create your accounts. I know that it's been a struggle trying to find quality caregivers or even reliable caregivers, I should say. So please go on to superstarsitters.com, create your account, and look forward to some amazing services.
Mhm.
And thank you guys again. If you guys have any
Absolutely.
Thank
questions,
you.
Yes.
please feel free to reach out to Superstar Sitters,
Yes.
and I'm sure they will gladly answer any questions that you have that I may have missed, or didn't ask. But please reach out to them, and I'm sure they will be glad to assist you. And
Absolutely.
thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Two Moms and Some Labels. Until next time, I will see you all then. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having us.